Hi everyone, good to be back. Again, thank you for having me. I'm not going to bore you with any more of my jokes, I promise you. This next section is going to be a panel where we are going to discuss with several distinguished investors from our region about what's been going on in this part of the world investment-wise, and how some of the macro trends are influencing us. And without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage, in order, Irina Mișca from Fortech Investments. Who is for some reason missing from the slide, but Florin, Vișa, Early Game Ventures. Welcome. There's a reason I'm not introducing them in extenso, don't worry, you'll see in just 1 second. Marcus Erken, Sunfish Partners. And Michal, 0100 VC. Where is he? Michal, where are you? Being late. All right, I'm afraid we're going to have to start without him. Thank you for joining us. Listen, I know we've been reverse pitching here, most of us. So, and we saw how that has gone. I thought we'd start just with a small reminder, if I may. We've got about 40 minutes here in total, give or take a couple of minutes. Just a small reminder. I would like to ask you, why you do what you do. Why do you the work that you do? Why you've chosen to do that, why you love doing what you're doing. And just remind everyone the stage at which your fund invests, the technical and geographical focus. And just as a small example, I'll start by reintroducing myself in TechAngels. So I do invest as an angel. I lead the largest angel group in the region. We've deployed 46 million euro in total over the past 12 years. We are technology agnostic as an angel group. We invest individually or in syndicates, mainly in Romania, but also beyond our borders in Hungary, Moldova, Bulgaria, Croatia. And I love doing what I do because it's an opportunity for me to spend a lot of time with very smart, very talented people, founders at the early stage. We typically only invest up to Series A, so in the very early stages of a startup, and it's a very fun and insightful experience to spend time with said founders. Please, who'd like to go first?
Hi, I'm Irina from Fortech Investments. We are located in Cluj-Napoca in Romania. We invest early stage. We started by investing very early, even pre-revenue, but in the most recent investments, we looked at more mature startups, already making revenues, having a clear traction, and if possible, being present in more than one country. When it comes to geographies, because we only had private capital up until now, we had quite a flexibility. So half of our 18 portfolio companies are in Romania, but the rest of them are in other countries. Bulgaria, Serbia, Estonia, even in the States we have one investment. We are increasingly looking at Moldova, and it's amazing what you are doing, guys. We looked very in deep dive in one startup, and we were amazed. It was not suitable for our portfolio at this moment, but for sure in our next journey, we will reconsider that one as well.
Great, thank you. Who'd like to go next?
Hi, Florin, I've been on the stage, you know me, from Early Game Ventures. We run 2 funds. Our fund 1 is a 26 million euro fund that was dedicated only to Romania, and as of today is 95% invested. And hello. And fund 2, which we just had first closing last year, I think about this period. It's a 60 million fund that is dedicated on our strategy is a Romania Plus strategy, so we want to do more than half of the investments in Romania, but the remaining we are looking at CE with a lot of options on diaspora and things like that, but it's going to be Europe. We invest mostly at pre-seed with Fund 1 exclusively. With Fund 2 we are allowed to do some seeds, but we'll mostly do in terms of number, in terms of deployment, pre-seed investments. And the reason that I'm doing VC is that I've actually worked for entrepreneurs my whole life, mostly as a mergers and acquisition consultants. And I would really like to help people get faster to their potential. And that gives me the energy day to day.
Lovely. Thank you, Florin. Marcus.
Hi, great to be here. Maybe why I love it first. I mean, the short version of this is kind of like, if you imagine that Venn diagram, it's what I really enjoy doing. It's what I think the world absolutely needs, and yeah, and where I'm good at, and to walk through these, and that's also how I co-founded my fund, Sunfish Partners. I've been involved with early stage startups for a long time. Prior to this, did a university incubator, have made over 20 angel investments over time, and really fallen in love with this and been obsessed about this. I mean, there's many side reasons why I don't want to work for other people, don't want to have other people work for me and so forth, but not to get into this too much. And then with our fund, why a big need? Because the truth is, unless some people like you guys in this room take experiments and do stuff, like a lot of really important, really cool stuff in the world is not ever going to get built, right? And with our investing, we've been laser focused on deep tech the whole time, in particular in space, in defense, and health tech, and a lot of this stuff wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a lot of startups doing this. So I want to be one of the VCs backing this. Our fund, just to remind you, initially 300K checks, euro, so that's at the very beginning, so that's pre-revenue, normally pre-product or anything, and really just courageous founder. I'm originally from Germany, so is my co-founder, but we think the market opportunity in Eastern Europe is much bigger, and the need is also much bigger. That's why we've been laser focused on this market since 2017.
Great, thank you, Marcus. And
hello.
Last but not least, welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you.
Michal, 0100 VC. Why do you love doing what you're doing, and just technological and geographical focus of the fund?
Got it. So I understood the context of the conversation. Apologies for running late. Had a really interesting founder meetings and got too deeply involved in the conversation. So my name is Michael. I represent fund 0100, which basically, besides the fund, we are kind of an ecosystem builder and been in this region of Eastern Europe for quite a while, actually active like almost 12 years now. And why I love what I'm doing is, first of all, helping these emerging regions, like where there is a good energy and good momentum to help the founders scale globally. So it's, I think it's the right place and right time to be in early stage in Eastern Europe. And I love working with founders in early stage. The reason being is that there are fuck-ups, excuse my language, every single day. There are problems, different problems every single day. And it's lots of learning for me, and it's exciting to work hands-on with the founders. Once it gets into smooth scaling or sailing after Series A, it gets a little bit boring for me, so I like to stay in the early stage. Geographical focus, mostly Eastern Europe. We are also active in Middle East, so have an office in Abu Dhabi, cover Saudi, UAE, and surrounding countries, especially in GCC. Sector agnostic, but mostly high-tech, quite active in health, medtech, logistics, mobility, so quite a few sectors.
That's great, that's great. So we started painting a picture. I'd like us to dive in, and maybe I'll ask you to share two things with the audience. So far, 2025, one moment that has made you particularly proud or happy in what you do, and one moment that has really disappointed you this year. And it can be directly related to your day-to-day activity, or it can be something you learned, heard, or learned about in the news or elsewhere. Maybe let's shuffle it around a little bit. Maybe Marcus, you want to start this one?
Sure. I mean, the thing that bothers me, and this is not just one moment, this is hundreds of moments, is both I individually and we as a team were not good enough at focusing our energy within the portfolio. And this is really hard because we as humans tend to want to invest roughly the same amount of time on all the portfolio companies that we have, right? And while that's from a founder perspective is good news, but to be really doing your job well as a startup, as a VC, you really have to kind of like put your portfolio companies in brackets and ideally spend as much time as you can with the top 30% and more or less ignore the remaining 70%. And over time, I mean, I used to be kind of like spread linearly, and I'm trying to get to that kind of like 3 buckets. But it's really hard because obviously even if the impact isn't as great, like the teams that aren't doing well, they're going to be much louder and so forth. The reason I'm sharing this with you is actually because I do want to develop this, because I think to be an outstanding VC, you have to be incredibly well at only focusing on the main thing. But this obviously is not something you as a founder want, unless you're in that top bucket, right? So it's very mixed, right? A thing I'm very proud of is we're going to announce this in a month, but there's a phenomenal person who's joined us as a venture partner. He's already been working. Venture partner is somebody who supports a fund part-time, so it's not part of the core team, but has specific skill set and helps a fund. It's a fantastic guy. He's already been working for us for a while, and it's just a true joy, and he really has a different skill set than the others of us at Sunfish do.
Good starting point. Irina, please.
The most recent moment in which I was super proud was last week. It was an event organized by EBRD in Romania with regards to a Star Path program designed for startups. They are preparing to organize their second edition, and I was in the room, and they first had a panel like this with startups from the first edition, and we had 2 startups that were from our portfolio and did the program there, and then they were pitching. They selected 10 startups basically to pitch, and then to choose out of them top 5 in order to join the second edition of the program. And there we had other 2 startups from our portfolio pitching, so you know, being among the 10 best of them. And I felt really proud, like really for the first ones just to see and share their experience, everything they learned, everything that the program brought them in order to help them scale further, but then to see the other ones trying to get into the program, and you know, me there encouraging them, taking pictures, and yeah.
So celebrating recognition,
yeah.
essentially.
And basically going back to and recircling to your first question, because I realized these are the moments in which I really feel that my job is really rewarding, right? I mean, I am part of so many extraordinary entrepreneurial journeys, and I feel this is my mission, right?
We cherish the founder's success. I think all of us as investors can agree on that.
Exactly.
Bad moment you want to share?
Well, what you know, there are some moments in which you feel like you cannot help as much as you want, you cannot put as much energy as you want, and you need to choose. Like Marcus was saying as well, and you know, with 18 startups already in the portfolio, you need to, you know, prioritize. But another particularly moment in which I felt like, you know, we should collaborate more was mostly in between us as venture partners or venture capital funds, in which, you know, sometimes I feel there is competition among us. I know maybe you will not like my comment here, when we are so few of us, right? I mean, Moldova, Romania, we are well underfunded. We should struggle to bring in more capital and work together in order to spark more ideas. But sometimes, you know, I am quite still new in the system, and I feel like it's a competition that I think it comes because we are all professional coming from very red ocean industries. But this is a blue, I mean, for this part of
when
Europe,
I started this, I was told that this is a world of frenemies. You're going to make a lot of frenemies in venture capital.
It's a weird feeling. Why it's a blue ocean still? We still have to bring in more capital. In how many deals you go and you feel there is no room for you? Really? I mean, there is none. We should just bring in more capital. We have a common goal.
Thank you. Michael, you want to share next?
Yeah, sure. I'll just jump on the idea
Please.
of collaboration. I completely agree, because my strong belief is if Eastern Europe is fragmented, we are screwed. We need to collaborate. Like, we are basically a bunch of small little islands of hubs and hope and kind of thinking that each of the country or each of the capital city will be the next Silicon Valley. It's not. We are going to be strong as a region together. And the collaboration needs to be on the VC side. The collaboration needs to be on the ground everywhere. So 100% agree. And I think
collaboration starts now.
Let's work on it together. So when it comes to proud moments, maybe two, one from the investment side, one from the ecosystem building side. Investment side, my personal kind of, I'm super happy about it. First investment in Western Balkans, I've been quite bullish about it. I'm going there quite often, so, well, it's not concluded yet, so I'm not going to announce it, but...
Don't jinx it.
But term sheet, everything is done, so final steps, announcement soon. So Western Balkans, I think, are the same as Moldova, basically growing, so it's good to watch. And on the ecosystem side, basically, we managed to launch a few events which are, I think, beneficial for the region. One in the Greece, so in February we launched, it's called Duer Summit, so bringing people from Eastern Europe, but also from US, from Middle East, all together to exchange ideas, such as here. And and we also co-launch a similar event in Abu Dhabi, where we basically bring Eastern European delegation there to meet with the local investor, etc. So quite proud that these two activities were successful. And bad moment?
And a sad, woohoo moment?
Well, one learning maybe. So one of the investments that we've done, I really honestly thought it's the best and strongest founder we invested in a long time, and because of that I a little bit stepped back and I was focusing on other, maybe a little bit more younger founders that needed more hands-on. After 6 months of not being so hands-on, I realized that that was a mistake. So that was a big learning, is like no matter how good or strong team there is, you need to be there from the day one, basically after the investment, and not just hope that the experience will save everything. So yeah.
Florin, please.
Yes, I think what makes me proud most is the company that I'm responsible as partner. And the best moment was Reloc was a company from Poland that was our first investment from Fund 2, our first investment abroad. And I got to be a partner there, although I'm not necessarily a specialist in the sector, but that's how things went up. And to see them, I think was it last month, like eight months later, pitching to us in preparation for their next round, it was really flawless, and I was so proud of what they did. So that's really a big thing for me. On the negative side, I want to be optimist, and we're in a business of being optimists. So I would normally not want to answer this, but I would say I'm a bit disappointed of something that we all are aware of. That again, for us at funds, the fundraising environment is very, very bad, and I was expecting that to be, but it was even a bit worse than I thought. And that coming from a fund that actually is quite successful in fundraising.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's move a little bit our focus to to the founders and paint a picture for them as to what an amazing startup looks like right now, and whether or not there's a difference in what you're looking for, let's say, this year or right now compared to, say, 12 months ago or 24 months ago, if that's easier for you. How have things changed, and has this definition of an amazing startup, has it evolved in any way? And let's start again, reshuffle the order. Michael, you want to go first?
Sure.
Punish you for being late?
I can have a think about it. I think two things that I would highlight from my perspective. So even more during these turbulent times, more the resilience and the founder profile is important. So we already had this concept internally, which is called product market founder fit. So basically all the triangle needs to work together, but more and more is basically founder is the first element of our analysis and decision making. Especially we see that during these times, all the startups are undergoing many pivots, many changes, many hard times, and if the founders are not there to fight, not there to adapt, then failure rate just increases a lot. So I think that's it's been there always, but now it's even more and more prominent, like the founder evaluation for us. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is, I think the market focus or global aspect is we also, like when it looks like a geographical expansion of startups, We like if they are more and more flexible, so not being built just for one market, because we see that especially if the US is the only route, yes, the market opportunity is big, but many things can change. If it is dual route, like also going to Middle East and US, even better. If it is free routes, also going to Asia, even
But
the best.
resilience. It still revolves around
Yes.
the resilience. So I would say I would summarize from what you've said: founder resilience, but also business resilience, right?
Thank you for doing my job much better than me.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. Kidding. Florin, maybe you want to go next?
Yeah, I would say again, the amazing part has to be the team, because that plays the biggest role, and regardless how you put that in any chart or any table, it's still, I would say, 90% about the founders. And what I would say is the amazing founder team, which I can say I haven't seen it yet, is to have the three roles in three different persons that complement each other. And I mean that the visionary, the hustler, and the hacker. And this is again something that we're always looking for, but it's very difficult, because this you cannot manufacture this. It has to come natural. And if you can find two people to complement each other naturally, that's difficult. But to have three people, that's almost unseen of. I mean, I haven't seen it one so far. So that would be for me amazing. And then everything else would normally run out of that. And what was the other point? What's changing?
Changed?
I mean, I see we understand better AI, the impact of AI, and whereas I think us and everybody, and maybe everybody's still doing it today, is sort of still jumping on the AI train. We understood, I think about a year ago, that you need to measure yourself and consider a lot how to jump on the AI train, because it's something very valuable and very strong, but it has a lot of pitfalls, and I'm afraid that many of the startups that even manage to raise for AI will actually fall in those in the future.
So I retain from this visionary hustler hacker. I love that, and like a perennial definition of something that's an amazing team: the visionary, the hustler, and the hacker. Marcus, I'm going to go to you next.
It hasn't changed for me at all. I also don't think putting labels on this is too useful. I think there's a million ways to do a company, and even studying successful people. I mean, the storytelling years after is only the 1% version and so forth. B, you'll never do something new in a new field by copying somebody who started something else 20 years ago and is now at this point. So I think there's really, I mean, it's fun. We all read anecdotal stuff and so forth, but for me it hasn't changed, and very likely it won't change if I'm sitting here in 5 years. Like, I want people who are completely obsessed about this one thing, and as tools change, obviously I'm only working with the people, and everybody here is that they're in the top 1% of everything. So with more tools, everybody else has more access to tools. I mean, even take we're always talking, oh, the world is so shaky right now. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the truth is, like, what's one general entrepreneurial trait? Like, they thrive under uncertainty, right? So more uncertainty is a good thing for the best entrepreneurs. I mean, we're all humans. We all hate uncertainty, but the people who are better, much better than average at dealing with uncertainty are entrepreneurs, right? So if you max up the uncertainty, while there's some pitfalls to it, like, this is entrepreneurial heaven if you think about it.
I mean, I love the idea, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit, because
please do. I hate panels where everybody agrees.
So,
yeah,
of course, we want founders who are obsessed, about changing the world, who wake up thinking that the world should be a different place, that it should look differently. But unfortunately, as we see, Marcus, this ranges from the brilliant game changer to the brilliant jerk. Both the ends of the spectrum are as obsessed as you're describing about changing the world. So I'm coming back to my question, because it's intentional. What does amazing look like, given that the spectrum of world changers, people are anywhere on that spectrum?
Two clarifying things. One, there's many ways to be building a company, right? So when I'm talking about entrepreneurs here, I'm talking specifically about the subgroup that needs venture capital to be doing something. There's other ways to bootstrap a company to successfully grow your Amazon shop. Might be even like more, depending on your personal profile, might be more rewarding, might be financially, the net might be better for you and so forth. So I'm talking about that very specific subgroup of founders I'm working with, right? And the truth is, at least I think they're not balanced people, right? If you want to do something that only one in 10 million, right, which is 4 times the size of this country, or in 100 million or so forth, can do, right, you're not going to be a balanced person, right? That's why I think, do I like to work with assholes? No, but can you predict who's going to be an asshole 20 years out? Don't think so either. Also, I think, the media always likes to label people in simplistic ways and so forth, but the truth is, people are complex, companies are complex, countries are complex, geopolitics is complex. So even this labeling, if we did a poll right here, for instance, right, says sort of and I framed it like super black and white, right? Even on the arguably most successful entrepreneur in the world, Elon Musk, there would be people in this room who might have valid reasons why they don't like him, right? Which if I had said the 3, and I'm still very in the pro-Elon camp, but I know many here aren't anymore, right? Because all of a sudden we hate him. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Come on.
Net. Everybody has pros and cons, but net.
Net. Pro-Elon camp. People who think he's positively changing the world, don't care about what he's doing. Hey, raise your hands. I see a few hands. Net.
This is like 12 people out of, and now net. Who thinks Elon has a negative impact on the world? This is double the people, and most people didn't show up. So we're going to do it again.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess
this is fine, by the way. We should be able to disagree on stuff.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Irina, please.
For me, an amazing startup is a startup that has a diverse team. So building up on what you were saying, I believe that problems that startups need to tackle are more and more complex. So let's face it, simple problems were solved. Startups need to go there and see more deeper and more important and complex problems, and from there, innovation will really have the impact. In order to do that, I really believe that you need to have around the table diverse teams, which brings diverse skills, which brings a different way of looking at the same subject, and basically with your own nature to be able to tackle the same thing from different angles. I think that, from the beginning, venture capital was all about finding the patterns. I read a lot about how a successful founder should look like, who managed to become a unicorn, who managed to do it more times, right? In order for me, when I was deal sourcing, to be able to spot that personality that will be resilient enough, that will be able to pivot fast enough, and so on and so forth. I really believe that in the future, this will not be about patterns anymore. I believe that successful teams will look very different from now on than the successful teams used to look like, because of the complexity of the problems that we need to tackle.
That's an interesting one, and you actually laid the ground for the next question. And in this context, do you think that Western Europe has an advantage, has the upper hand, compared to Eastern Europe, say, in building said amazing startups?
When it comes to talent, no. I believe we are very well equipped, and I have the possibility to say this because we have invested in companies, in startups from many countries, not only from this region. So I can tell when it comes to talent, capabilities, resilience, building a team, being able to run a business, I don't believe there is a difference. Trust me, there is no. But when it comes to resources, big time. And of course, we want to invest in deep tech, in research-based investments, and I will not go further in this. But let's face it, in order for us to do that, we have to have teams that have the time to develop. That means they have the resources to research out there and to be able to actually do something very well-grounded, which we lack in this
Not
region.
the talent, but the resources. Marcus, agree?
I think individual differences for entrepreneurs are much more important than country averages. So I'm not disagreeing with your statement, I'm just double clicking on this. So I'm generally not a fan of these questions, compare country X to Y. I think there's many different pros and cons of being a founder coming from this country as opposed to some other country and so forth. But I think the reason why some people in this room will succeed and others will not, and there's also luck in a lot of variables we don't understand, but for the variables we can understand, I think let's put it this way, like my next door neighbor that I went to elementary school with in a small town in Germany has much less in common with me than some entrepreneur in Moldova, simply because that person has a different mindset. So I think like we're not getting far with these country-specific averages. Yeah.
Fair enough. Michael, want to pitch in?
Okay, I'll take other approach. I like to generalize. Eastern Europe is much more better when it comes to startups and entrepreneurs. And the reason is very simple. It's the mindset. The mindset of the founders is early stage. The ecosystem is still developing. They have hunger and hustle like crazy. And that's one thing. And the second thing is like, they have just nothing to lose. There is basically, the opportunity costs are low to basically go and start a startup. The only thing they are missing is basically support ecosystem and some kind of capital and some kind of mentorship from somebody who has done it already. But like when it comes to like what else they could be doing, the opportunity costs are much lower. And we see it also like across the Eastern Europe, it's not homogeneous anymore, right? So you can compare really the types of, and you can actually measure the hungriness and types of founders that you can find, for example, in Czech Republic, in Slovenia and stuff like that, which is like one cycle before basically, let's say, the Southeastern Europe, right? And so some of the founders are basically considering different routes because they have so many options how they can basically be successful, how to support the family and everything like that.
I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, Florin. I'm sorry. I know I have to get to you too, but I'm going to jump the gun a little bit because I'm going to ask you the next question because you've sort of alluded to something. Is this what you just said? Is this agnostic of the business domain and technology domain that they're tackling, right? And it kind of ties into what Irina was saying a little bit. You know, simple problems are solved. We have complex problems ahead of us to solve, but solving a complex problem when you're starting out of a market like Moldova, if you're trying to do a marketplace, is a very different animal compared to solving the same thing in France. And listen, I don't like generalizing either, but that is the reality.
True. I think the starting point for some industries is definitely not the same. Also because basically you need to have some baseline, you need to have some background, you need to have some kind of spillover effect of skills. You cannot, in the country, acquire new industry or vertical knowledge out of nowhere, from the internet, from the ChatGPT. It doesn't happen. Basically, some of the new emerging areas, crypto, etc., you can learn, you can jump on it early, etc. But learning about how logistics work, learning about how shipping works, like people in Slovakia will not do shipping startups. Yeah. And
maritime shipping, probably not your strong point.
Because like there is no basically transfer of knowledge. There is no quick validation you can get from the market, etc. So the starting position is basically also depends what's already available in the country or in the region. So it's more difficult to build some of the industries that were never here, basically.
Sorry, Florin, I jumped you, but now you have the opportunity to answer both
of them,
in a bundle. So Western versus Eastern founders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the belief that innovation has no borders, and so this is all irrelevant if it's Western people or Eastern people. And yes, there could be a role by education, but I feel that the kind of founders that we're looking for that are ultimately successful, I think it's somehow in their genes, and those are not different. So in my view, there is absolutely no difference between one and another. It could be, and this is something where I think there is room for funds everywhere, all over the globe, is that there are some cultural specificities of countries, of regions, and that sometimes there is a misunderstanding, there's a lost in translation, as the word's saying. And sometimes a brilliant founder from Moldova might not get his message through to a VC in Spain. I don't know, let me say a word of somebody who's not here. And somebody in Moldova or somebody closer to the region, and here I'm talking about Eastern Europe as a region, might get that sort of cultural quirkiness and understand it and not misunderstand it.
Can I add one nuance to this?
Please.
Again, I think I get the general point of having these company comparisons, but I think it's quite academic, that question. If you think about the individual, right? If you're a hyper-talented individual that's completely obsessed about whatever, the shipping industry, right? And you're in Moldova, you're not going to start a different company. You're going to start your shipping company, but going to look for resources elsewhere. You're going to move. You're going to find your network somewhere. You're going to raise from somebody else, right? I mean, similarly in our portfolio, ideally I'd love that all the companies in our portfolio become really big in Europe and stay here and exit. And I love Europe. I want it to succeed. But I'm also a realist, right? None of my teams has the time to wait for some European regulator to change some law in the next 5 years. So if this isn't there, the best founders, they will have moved on, right? And they will be, in this case, in the United States or something else. So I think if you're a great founder and if you're constrained by the speed of your government, a union, or something, or certain industry expertise within your country, I think the truth is you've already lost this game already.
I want to echo this, and I have a very practical example from a small country in the region which, to my knowledge, never had a national air carrier. Somebody who's talented to be a pilot ended up being a pilot in a great global company and ended up with a fantastic idea for aviation industry. So, yeah, it has nothing to do that he didn't have the potential there.
And both are true, right? Like our countries should do much better to help the startup ecosystem and foster, and ideally everybody in high school should learn more about the basics, and that should include entrepreneurship. This is all true, but this is all how do we create societal change in the next 5 to 25 years, and it's very irrelevant for the individual that wants to do something now.
Now, before we get to societal change, what I'm going to propose is a fun little exercise for the ending of our panel. I'm going to make some statements that founders sometimes make, either in calls with venture capital partners or in discussions afterwards, and I just want knee-jerk reactions, right? I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, just knee-jerk reactions to these. Irina, ready? Can we start? I'm confident this product is amazing. I know if I manage to build it, customers will just flock to my doors.
Classic. That's why one of my favorite questions is, how many people you've asked before shaping up your product. I mean, usually it comes from your own need or something you saw directly somewhere, but then how many times you questioned it. But it's a classic one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Michael, this is the safest bet you'll make this year. Returns 100x guaranteed. By the end of your VC's life.
As a VC, I don't like safe bets, so no, thank you.
Get out. Let's go, Marcus.
Can I give a spin on this?
Please.
Normally what I hear is not this. It's not safest bet you get 100x. It's rather this is a safe bet. You can sort of like exit this company for 3x in a couple of years. And I mean, while there is certain industries who are pretty good at doing this, right? I mean, not that high, because risk and reward go hand in hand. My answer would rather be, not for me, I play a different game. I don't mind you losing 100% of my money, but I want the opportunity of getting 100x, and the more plannable a business is to deliver whatever, like a 2x in 5 years, the less room there is, because again, risk and reward, this is basic. This is like literally day one of any economics class, right? So if you want to have the upside for 100x, you cannot have the certainty of a 2x.
Yeah. So how about the flip side of this? What would be your reaction to, I don't know how I'm going to make money or what an exit scenario looks like, but I want to build a great company?
It's fine for me. Nobody I invest in knows how to make money.
Yeah? Okay. Fair enough.
And I know that's probably not what you were going for. But,
not necessarily. I'm not going for anything. Florin, I just got off the phone with Peter Thiel or Mark Andreessen or insert fancy name here, and they told me they would write a check.
Right.
I mean, you've got 24 hours to decide.
Okay, go for it. It's great.
Take the money.
Yeah.
And this one is for all of you. And please, just knee-jerk reaction. I'm sure you've heard this. And anyone can start. I'm not going to name names. I don't think you get it, do you?
You should start.
I've had it today.
Probably correct. There's 100 things I don't understand. But just, I mean, and sometimes I don't understand it because I'm not able to understand it. Sometimes the person didn't explain it well enough. Sometimes it's idiotic. It could be all of those. And finding out which is which in a rather efficient way, I think, is a difference between a mediocre and a great VC.
I was telling this story to a group at this event earlier. I sent a rejection note, and I've got like a 2 pages answer of additional arguments why they are right and what is even more and I'm not understanding. And I responded, look, at this email I need to respond because otherwise you will think I'm rude because you spend all that time. And my response is, I will love that you have success and I will have a great learning out of this.
Can you just add one sentence for the founders? Because this has happened to me too, and I can only most likely it's not going to work, but I have changed my mind if I said no to a team and it gave me a 2-page answer. And I mean, again, smart people should be changing their mind when there is new information. And I'm not saying that's always going to work. 9 out of 10 cases that probably doesn't work, but it's not a given that if somebody gives you a no, if you present them with additional or new information and dynamics change, that it's still a no, right?
I can take some superiority in the first part of a conversation because if someone is very talented, like genius talented, you can expect that they are very proud and they feel that they are better than anyone else and they should be.
Especially an investor, right?
Yeah, especially an investor, I mean. But then you need to make the effort, right, to make me understand. And not only me, it's not, of course, I need to understand something in order to be able to invest, and if not, we are all losing our time here. But then you will have to explain further to other investors, you will have to explain further to your clients, you will have to explain better to expand the team. So you need to make that effort as well to have some people skills as well. Although I understand it's not your core or it's not your strength, but you need to get to be a bit better at this in time. So yeah.
I think there are 2 things I would say. One is okay, if I don't understand it, I don't matter. I'm probably not the user, so show me that the users or the clients understand it.
You're not building for investors.
So show me that the client understands it and they need it and everything like that, and I'm happy to learn. And to these stories of stubborn founders and who are not taking no as an answer, usually, if I see that I'm dealing with this kind of founder, my rejection note changes a little bit. So I'm not giving them the reason why they are wrong, or I believe when they are wrong, but usually I tell them sorry, I think I would be wasting your time because I cannot help you.
It's me.
Yeah, I cannot help you. Sorry.
It's not you, it's me.
And usually they take it well.
Madam, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure slightly disagreeing with you this afternoon. On this happy note, let's end our conversation. Thank you very much. Most of the people here, I hope, will continue to be available throughout the afternoon and the evening for you. Thank you. Have an amazing rest of the event. I think we're bound to get some startups here on stage soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun. It was fun. Thanks. Cheers.